Have you ever found yourself walking on eggshells around someone who always seems to make everything about themselves? Or maybe you've wondered if your own self-love is healthy, or if it's tipping into something more destructive. Narcissism is more than just a buzzword. It's a real, complex force that shapes the relationships, our families, and even our culture. But what if I told you that understanding narcissism isn't just about labeling others? It's about transformation, about turning pain into wisdom, confusion into clarity, and wounds into strength. Welcome to Alchemizing Narcissism. Today, we're diving deep into what narcissism really is, how it affects us, and how we can begin to heal, both for ourselves and for those we care about. Our journey begins with an ancient story, the myth of Narcissus. According to Greek mythology, Narcissus was a young man of extraordinary beauty, so captivated by his own reflection in a pool of water that he couldn't tear himself away. He became obsessed, neglecting food, shelter, and even the love of others, ultimately wasting away as he gazed at himself. This myth isn't just a cautionary tale about vanity. It's a powerful metaphor for how self-obsession can lead to isolation, loneliness, and emotional detachment. Just like Narcissus, people who struggle with narcissistic traits often find themselves caught in a loop, unable to connect deeply with others because they're so focused on themselves. But this story also invites us to look deeper, to ask, what drives this self-obsession, and how can we break free from its grip? In modern psychology, narcissism is recognized as a spectrum of traits, ranging from healthy self-esteem to more problematic patterns. At its core, narcissism involves an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. Psychologists often distinguish between two main types: grandiose narcissism and vulnerable narcissism. Grandiose narcissists are confident, charismatic, and often dominant. They crave attention and admiration, and they're not afraid to put themselves first. Vulnerable narcissists, on the other hand, are more insecure and sensitive to criticism. They may appear shy or self-effacing, but underneath, they're deeply preoccupied with how others see them. At the far end of the spectrum is narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, a more severe condition that affects about 1% of the population. NPD is characterized by pervasive patterns of behavior, like manipulation, entitlement, and a lack of empathy that can disrupt every aspect of life, from friendships to careers. So, what does this mean for our relationships? Whether it's a partner, a family member, or a friend, being close to someone with narcissistic traits can be emotionally exhausting. You might find yourself constantly trying to meet their needs, only to feel unseen or unappreciated in return. Narcissistic behavior often leads to conflict, resentment, and emotional distance. In romantic relationships, it can result in one-sided dynamics where your feelings are overlooked and your boundaries are ignored. In families, it might mean walking on eggshells to avoid outbursts or criticism. Even in friendships, narcissism can create tension, as conversations always seem to circle back to the other person's needs or achievements. The emotional toll is real. Many people who've been close to a narcissist report feelings of inadequacy, frustration, and even anxiety or depression. But here's the important thing. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward healing. But where does narcissism come from? Research suggests that genetics play a role. Some people may be more predisposed to narcissistic traits due to their family history. Parenting styles also matter. Overly indulgent parenting can foster an inflated sense of self-importance, while overly critical parenting can lead to insecurity and a need for validation. And then there's our culture. Social media, for example, encourages self-promotion and validation seeking, which can amplify narcissistic tendencies. But it's not just about blame or diagnosis. Understanding these roots helps us see that narcissism is often a response to pain, insecurity, or unmet needs. It's a coping mechanism, a way to protect oneself from vulnerability. And that's where a spiritual perspective comes in. At Alchemizing Narcissism, we believe that understanding narcissism is just the beginning. The real work is in transformation, in turning pain into power, confusion into clarity, and wounds into wisdom. Whether you're struggling with narcissistic traits yourself, or you're trying to heal from a relationship with someone who is, there's hope. Healing starts with self-awareness, compassion, and the courage to set boundaries. It's about reclaiming your sense of self, learning to love yourself in healthy ways, and finding support in community. Spiritual practices like mindfulness meditation and self-reflection can help you reconnect with your inner wisdom and strength. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and every wound can become a source of resilience. If you're ready to explore how narcissism shapes your life and how you can start healing, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next video. Together, we'll turn the challenges of narcissism into opportunities for growth, self-love, and spiritual awakening. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Let's alchemize our pain into power.